Okay.
Hi, and welcome to Tea Transitions, the podcast for women building a life abroad. I'm Rose Davenport.
Hi, I'm Farah Baker. We're here to basically uh, give you the unfiltered truth of your journey, the setbacks, the success, and the joys. Today, we have as our guest Kate. Welcome, Kate.
Hi,
Hi.
Kate.
Glad to be here.
Awesome. And Kate, she is currently living in Indonesia.
That's
And
right.
Kate, if you don't mind, share with us a little bit about your background and what triggered the transitions from, I guess, America to Indonesia.
Well, it was all kind of strange. I was a Spanish teacher for a while in Los Angeles. I'm from Chicago, but I taught in Los Angeles for a while. I hated teaching. And so I bounced around doing other things, trying to figure out what I can do with my life.
Mm,
And then I went back to graduate school. And one day in the Chicago Tribune, there was an ad for training people on word processing equipment in Indonesia.
Mm.
This was 1982. I
mm.
was already computer literate, so I answered the ad and got the job immediately. And it was only for 3 months. So I figured, oh, I knew nothing about Indonesia. And I figured, well, 3 months, what's the worst that could happen? And it just coincided with a 3 month quarter that was coming up at school. So
Mm,
I
Mhm.
finished my final exams, took a leave of absence for the next quarter,
mhm.
and then never went back.
See, I
Mm.
thought your story was one of the Eat, Pray, Love originals, but clearly you had a job to go to, so it's a different scenario.
I
Yes,
like
right.
that.
I
I
did
like
have
that.
a job when I came here for three
Okay,
months anyhow.
And
okay.
how
So,
long then have
mhm.
you been living in Indonesia?
40, it'll be 43 years in
Oh
December.
my God.
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
Have
wow.
you been back home and then go back there?
I have, yes, there have been times when I've been back. I visited my mom
Hmm.
um, while she was still alive. And when I was tour directing, after that job ended, I thought, what in the world am I going to do here? I have
Hmm.
to support myself. I have to make money.
Hmm.
And so what happened is I said, you know, the only skill I have that I can use here in Indonesia is teaching language because
Hmm.
I had been trained to teach language.
Hmm.
So I went to one of the language schools, one of the private language schools, walked in, got a job, started the next day, and that ended up being 15 years teaching English here.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean,
but when that was coming close to 15 years, I was kind of tired of it, and I came back to the States for a short time to take a course to become a tour director.
Mm.
And so then the next 18 years, I was a tour director all over the world. But
wow.
Good for you.
Indonesia was always my home base.
Hmm.
Hmm.
A tour director only works maybe 5, 6 months a
Hmm.
year
Seasonal.
Hmm.
Yeah.
because it's seasonal, right?
Yeah.
So it worked out perfectly because I had a place here, I had a household help, and I had my dogs here and everything, and it just worked out perfectly for me.
So as a tour
Hmm.
director, let me ask you this. I was a tour guide before, based in
Oh,
Singapore. So I would bring Singaporeans travel overseas.
yeah, right.
Who are your passengers at that time? Where are they
At
from
that
and where did you take them to?
Yeah, it was an American tour operator. And
Hmm.
Hmm.
so most, I would say around 90% were Americans. But
Hmm.
most of the tours had maybe a couple of British people
Hmm.
or sometimes even Brazilian or Argentine, but
Hmm.
mostly Americans. Yeah.
Okay. Now
And
Interesting.
you having done various kinds of jobs, you have now landed as an artist, right? And a content creator. Come on, look at you.
Well
Rolling with the
done,
times.
Kate.
Well, you know, I retired
Yeah.
Mhm,
about, let's see, yeah, about 10 years ago.
mhm.
And I was 70 at that time, and I retired. And
Wait,
so,
70, 10 years ago?
yeah, yeah.
You look
You look
good.
amazing.
You
Well,
look
thank you very
good.
much.
It's must
Yeah,
must be all of the ubat in Indonesia. I
yeah,
can
and you know
tell.
what else? The humidity here keeps your
Uh,
skin good, you know.
yes, yes.
Humidity is really good for the skin.
Yeah.
But um, yeah, I lost my train of thought. But anyhow,
You
You retired
retired
10
10
years
years
ago.
ago.
oh yeah, right. And so after I retired, it was, oh, I'd always kind of wanted to do artwork, although I'd never studied art or done anything. But I
Mhm,
thought, you know, I'd always felt like that was missing in my life.
Mm.
mhm.
And so luckily these days, you know, we can just go online, go to
Yes.
YouTube and start looking at tutorials
Yeah.
online. And
Mhm,
that's how I got started.
mhm,
So I did,
That's
I've,
great.
I've been painting now for about 5 or 6 years.
mhm.
And then about 10, 11 months ago, a friend called me and she said, you know, Kate, I'm getting ready to start making YouTube videos. Why don't you do it along with me?
Mm.
Oh, that sounds good. I'll do it. So I started making YouTube videos. Yeah.
Ah, cool. So it's
So
quite a relatively new venture, this
Absolutely.
content
exactly.
creating.
Absolutely new. Yes. Yes.
Wow,
And
I'm in awe of you, to keep trying new stuff.
try
That
new
is,
stuff, and you're
yeah,
not afraid. And especially now, you're not afraid of technology.
yeah.
No,
There's a lot
no.
of maneuvering here and there, make sure your videos are uploaded correctly, so on and so
Mhm,
forth.
mhm.
Before we go further, this question came to my mind, Kate. If you can describe your journey in 3 words, what would that be?
Oh, exciting,
Chaotic, exciting.
adventurous.
There
Yeah.
you
Mhm,
go.
Adventure is kind of, I suppose, the main thing that
Mm.
moves me.
mm.
But
Have you
why?
always been like that, Kate?
Yeah.
Yes.
Adventurous?
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Why did you then stay in Indonesia for this long? What is it about Indonesia?
What is
Mm.
it? Well, first of all, I fell in love with the man here.
Ooh.
Yes, and we got married and we got
Mhm,
divorced.
mhm,
Yeah,
It's fine. Yeah.
it happens, you know, it
Yeah.
happens.
mhm,
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and when things were going bad in the marriage, I thought, you know, I won't be able to stay here if we break up. I won't be able
mhm,
to stay here.
Mm.
And when we
mm.
broke up, I stayed. I wasn't
Yeah.
ready to leave. This is the first place I've ever really felt at home. I know that sounds strange. I know that sounds very strange, but I can remember the exact moment when I realized that Indonesia was my home.
Hmm.
I had gone to the States to visit my mom. This
Mhm,
was this was probably 20, 25 years ago, maybe more.
mhm,
And I was I was living in Jakarta at the time. Yeah, so it has to be like 1987 or something like that. And
mhm,
I was in a taxi coming from the airport, Soekarno-Hatta Airport in Jakarta, to
mhm.
my home in Jakarta. And um, I got in the taxi and I felt, oh God, it's so good to be home. And I shocked myself. I
Mhm.
said, what did I just say to myself? Home? This feels like home. Because I never felt like home in the States. Never.
Mhm.
Why
Mhm.
so? Why so? Never in the state.
I never felt like I
Yeah.
fit in, you know.
Mm.
Mm.
It doesn't come across when I'm doing my videos, but
Got
I
it.
am very introverted. And
Mm.
I'm okay when I'm talking to the camera
Mhm.
or when I'm talking to one person or something. But you know, in the States, there's this pressure to be social. And I always tried. I thought something, why was I so uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
trying to get involved in social activities? And here, there's no pressure. If I want to, I'm welcome. But if I don't want to, that's okay too. I don't
Hmm.
know. So anyhow, this feels like home. It's the first place
Good
that
for
So
you.
ever.
at that point, so at that point in the taxi coming back from the airport,
Yeah,
how many years were you already in Indonesia by then?
probably maybe 5, I would say, 4 or 5
Okay.
years,
And
something like that.
how soon were you able to pick up the language, Bahasa Indonesia?
Well, you know, what I used to do would be I'd go to work. I had a shift from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Mm.
I monitored the second shift on the computers, and I would come into work and I'd ask my Indonesian colleagues, you know, last night in the taxi when I was trying, I wanted to say blah, 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 blah. Or yesterday when I met so and so, I wanted to say blah, blah, blah. And I'd say, give me this sentence. And I'd memorize that sentence. And then the
Mm.
next day I'd memorize another sentence. And that's how I started. I never took a class or anything.
Mm.
We didn't have Duolingo or all those online places
Or
in those days.
Babbel, those app
Yeah,
nowadays,
Yeah,
you
we
can
didn't
just
yeah,
have
yeah.
travel
those.
with those. How convenient.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
on a rating on 0 to 10, how would you rate your Bahasa Indonesia? 10 being excellent, 0 poor.
Well, somewhere in the middle,
Let's
maybe a
Mhm.
try it.
6.
Apa
Yeah.
kabar, Mbak? Apa
Bye,
kabar?
bye.
Baik.
Yeah.
Well, the
So
accent is good.
I know.
We both have Indonesian roots, that's why.
Exactly. I
Okay.
I
Yeah.
have
Interesting.
Javanese,
Oh,
a lot of
interesting.
Javanese in me. Yes.
Uh-huh.
I am
And
half Javanese.
Oh, but where you're born in the States?
No, we're both born
no.
in Singapore.
Yep.
Oh, you're both from Singapore.
Both from
Oh.
Yes, we're both from
Singapore.
Singapore. And we relate to you because we fell in love and there's a man here. That's how we ended up here stateside.
But I
Okay.
guess
Yeah.
the difference in us, because we live in a city, and as it is today, Singapore, back then we were raised, Singapore has to be number one. We have to be number one in this, number one in that. So ultimately, it's really in our DNA to work, work, work. We are such a
Yeah.
workaholic. So
Yes.
my personal transition in this to here where I am today, automatically I'm like, nope, I'm very independent. I gotta do this. I want to do this, da, 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 never stop. So when I
Mhm.
look at some of your videos in YouTube, which by the way, we will add your social media handles in the description so
Thank
that
you.
our followers and those new listeners can also check into your YouTube channel
Great.
to
Thank
learn
you.
more and follow you as well. It's when I look at your video, something just hit me in the gut. I'm like, if she can live at 42 years and still smiling away,
Hmm.
I need to do something to smile too, because fast forward 25 years later, things are so different in the States, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and I created T Transitions because I want to hear other women's stories and your
Yeah.
stories. I know those in the videos are just regular, but deep inside, I want to know up close and personal, Kate. For example, in the chaos of everything, how do you ground yourself? Being lonely, being by yourself as a single woman, how do you navigate that?
Well, you know, I've always been very independent and done things differently from everybody else. But I have had the same household help
Mm.
for 35 years.
Wow.
That's very unusual here.
Mhm.
Well,
Loyalty.
it's very unusual for expats to have household help that lasts that long.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Uh, she's been with me for 35 years, and her husband works outside and she works inside, and that has helped me a lot
Hmm.
uh, in adjusting. And I have I've always had two passions in my life. travel, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
and dogs. Dogs. I'm a total dog lover. And for me in the States, that was always a problem. How can I have dogs and travel? Who will take care of my dogs when I'm gone? I don't want to put them in a kennel.
It's
I want to go for
expensive.
2, 3 months at a time.
Mm.
What am I supposed to do? And here, of course, it works out perfectly.
Yeah.
My household, my housekeeper takes care of the dogs, and sometimes she's cleverer than I am actually about what needs to be done. She's gotten so good at this. So when I was tour directing and I was gone, maybe 1 month at a time, 2 months at a time, I knew my dogs and my home were all taken care of.
Mm.
And I never had to worry about that because I trusted her totally.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
That
that
does
has
that.
kind of grounded
Sorry,
me.
go ahead. Yeah.
That had grounded me.
Yeah. Now,
Very good.
does that translates to being your support in a land where you do not have family?
I don't have family. Yeah.
Yeah, but does
But your
the
helper is
housekeeper?
now.
Yeah,
Your helper
exactly.
is now.
She's
Yeah.
she's like a
If
She is
family.
like
needed.
your
Yeah.
support, right?
Yeah, and she's
Mm.
like family at this point. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I meant,
Yeah.
because you form relationships, not necessarily that they have to be family, but they in turn become your family,
Yes.
right? When
Right.
when you're abroad. Yeah.
Yeah.
In this podcast, we also like to talk about the culture shock when someone moved from one country to the other. Was there a culture shock for you back then when you first visit for that 3 months? The 3 month
Yeah.
job, remember that one?
Yes. Yes, I do. I can remember the company used to send a van to pick me up at the house. I stayed in a company house,
Hmm.
and well, first of all, the van would pick me up, and we would drive to the office, and it was about a half hour away. So, and we would drive past, and I drive past these places where people were obviously quite poor, and yet the kids would come out all perfect. Their uniforms were perfectly ironed. Their hair was all done. I thought, this is so different from what I would expect in the States. Um, and the men were taking care of the children frequently, not the women necessarily. It was, and nowadays I know in the States, my brother, when he had kids, he did a lot of the work that we think of as women's work, taking care of
Hmm.
kids.
Hmm. Hmm.
But back in 1983, when
That's
I
unheard
had
of,
been here just a
unusual.
short while,
Yeah.
for
Mm.
me, it was really quite unusual.
Hmm. Yeah.
And it was also very unusual to have household help. And um, after that 3 month job ended, of course, I couldn't stay in that house.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so people said, well, you better get some help right away. I said,
Mhm.
no, not me. I'm going to live on my own. I'm not
Mhm.
going to have household help, you
Mm.
know. And the whole idea of it, was like, I was a 60s girl, I was
Yeah.
back when the hippies, I was in Southern California during the
Yeah.
hippie movement.
Mm,
Mhm.
So to
there
me,
you
having
go.
someone do your work for you, like cleaning the house or
Mhm.
cooking, it was like, no, not me. Well, the
Mhm.
day before I was moving, I found a place to rent through some friends. And the day before I was moving, I realized, I don't know how to do anything. I don't know how to pay the bills. I don't know how to do anything. So I went to the person who was working at that company house. I said, can you find someone to help me and work for me for a while? So I was planning to have someone just temporarily.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, and that was not the lady who works for me now, but it
Mhm.
was someone else. But
Uh,
so so yeah, that was a culture shock for me, was
Now,
having,
you came to Jakarta where you were sent to work for 3 months,
yes,
but now you are in another part of
yes.
Java. Where are you at right now?
I'm in Yogyakarta now, but I lived
Oh,
in
you're in
Jakarta.
Jogja.
Yeah, I
Okay.
lived in Jakarta for several years
Okay.
first.
And I mean, I love Yogyakarta. You
Uh-huh.
know, that's a part of my family that comes from there. Now, Why did you settle on Yogyakarta?
Well, what happened was had been working for quite some time in Jakarta
Mhm.
and at American Language Training, ILP, ELTI, EEP, different language schools. And then a job came along in Yogyakarta. It was a
Mhm.
Canadian project to train government employees who had been targeted as possibilities for going overseas to get a master's degree. And I took the job. And
Mhm.
I didn't choose to come to Yogyakarta. I came for the job. Once again, the job,
A job.
Yeah. And when
We
that
go where
job
the
ended,
money is, Kate.
Smart lady. We gotta learn
yeah,
something from Kate. We go where the money is.
yeah.
Yeah.
And when that job ended 4.5 years later, I said, I'm going to stay here.
Yeah.
I like
Mm.
Jogja. It's easier
Yeah.
living in Jakarta.
Yes.
Although I tell you, I don't know when we were last in Jogja, but it's not
Yes.
like
The
it used
same.
to be. It used to be this quiet university city.
Mhm.
Wait, isn't
Now it's
Jakarta now the capital instead of Jakarta?
no.
No, what is the
Jakarta is moving to a place on Kalimantan.
Kalimantan?
Yeah.
Mm.
Is
They're
the
building, but part of the government stuff will stay in Jakarta, and some of
Mhm.
it will move to Kalimantan
wow. All right,
because
Kate.
Jakarta is sinking.
Yeah,
Mm.
I saw
Yeah.
that too. What would you say to women who might feel alone or unseen while building their life? As they transition, they move to a new place, either as an expat for work or with the family, military family, for example, or even as a single traveler. What would your advice be for them?
Well, if they are naturally extroverted,
Mm,
they're not going to have any problem.
Mm.
Here in Indonesia, everyone will talk to you. Everyone, even when you don't want them to, they
agree.
will talk
Mhm.
to you. They're absolutely the friendliest
Friendliest.
people on earth.
Hmm.
Yes.
And if they are introverted, then it's a little different. They're going to have to search out, to settle on one or two people that they feel close to. But the big alternative, the big option is to look for the expat community and get advice from people in the expat community for whatever
Mm.
it is you need. You need to look for an apartment to rent or a house to rent, or you aren't sure about buying such and such a thing or whatever
Mhm.
they need advice about. That I do not go to the expat community, but when I was anyhow, when I was first here, of course,
Mm.
I did not join the expat organization,
Hmm.
but
Mhm.
I did meet some other expats, and
Mhm.
that's how I found out how I could rent a house and so
Mm.
forth. So it's always good, even if you want to blend into the culture, it's good for the beginning to check out with some other expats.
Mm.
So,
Has it been very easy for you then? Because I ask this question because I'm an extrovert, sometimes too much. But now, I think COVID has a lot to do with this too. I'm really not liking to be in a crowd sometimes,
uh-huh.
but then I want to be out there with the community, maybe, doing some community work or volunteer work. What do you
Mhm.
do over there?
Well, a lot of expats who come here do volunteer work.
Mm,
Mm.
Not work. I don't want to call it. It's not like a full-time job or anything,
hmm.
but they go to, like, there's a place near me, a rehabilitation center. And I know one person who goes there to volunteer, to just help out.
Mm.
Someone else might go to a language school and say, if you have kids who, students who need some extra help and they want, some extra help speaking English,
Hmm.
send them to me and we'll just sit and talk and
Mhm.
they don't have to pay me or
That's
something like
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, there are all kinds of volunteer possibilities,
So
no
I'm
matter what
assuming,
country you go to, you
I'm
know.
assuming by now you are well connected with the community in the area where you live.
Well, um, well connected. I'm well connected with a few people. I have Indonesian friends,
Hmm.
and not necessarily in my precise neighborhood here. I live
Gotcha.
in a
Mm-hmm.
small place outside of Jogja,
Mm-hmm.
up the mountain,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
and so I certainly am well connected in the sense that I have friends that I can go to
There you go. Yeah.
when I need help with something, and she comes to me when she needs
Mm-hmm.
she needs some stuff in English sent off to not to the States or anything, but
I call that
um,
support system in my world,
yeah,
you
Yep.
know?
exactly. You're right. Exactly. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What after listening to you and I hope our listeners out there can pick up some of these golden nuggets from your story. What do you hope people learn from your story of transition and growth?
That anyone can do it. If you're an extrovert or an introvert, you can be
Mm-hmm.
an expat. You can, you know, um, Nike says, just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what I believe. Just do it. Um, a lot of people are afraid. People say I'm brave. Oh, you're so brave to do
Mm-hmm.
that. And it was not about being brave at all. It was
Mm-hmm.
just about doing something that I needed to do to find myself. And
That's the key.
so, uh, but I would take Nike's slogan and say that just do it.
Very good.
Um, and contact people. You can contact expat communities in a country where you want to go
Mm,
in
Mm-hmm.
advance. Everybody's online now.
Mm-hmm.
that's true.
That's true. And
Yeah.
and now it's so much easier than when you started in
Yes.
83,
Yes.
isn't it?
Hmm.
Right?
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
made so much easier now.
Yes.
Mm.
Exactly. Yeah.
So going forward, Kate, where do you see yourself in a few years' time? I know you paint a lot now. I saw
Mhm.
your dogs. They're
Yeah.
adorable.
Yeah. I will. I will still be here. When you rent a house in Indonesia, you pay for the full length of the contract.
Mm.
You don't
Mm,
pay by month.
Ah.
mm,
And so I paid for 3 years at once when I first moved into this house. And
mm-hmm,
then every time the landlady needed money for something, you
mm-hmm,
know, she needed to buy a motorcycle for her kid who was going to university or whatever, pay university fees. She would
mm-hmm.
come and say, "Don't you want to extend your contract?" And so I'd pay for another few years at a time.
Oh,
Right now, my rent is paid until January 2028.
Wow.
And I'm
wow.
hoping in January 2028, she won't kick me out, but and that I'll be able to extend again. So I plan to be right here painting, making YouTube videos, and playing with my doggies.
You're
And
an inspiration, Kate.
well, thank you very much. Thank you.
I love the fact that you just roll with the punches and roll with the
I
times.
know.
That's what you have to do.
And you know what?
Yeah.
You're not worried about the numbers. You are still glowing at this age. It doesn't show. You're because you are peaceful in what you do every day. And you're so blessed because you're surrounded
Thank you.
by number one, positivity out there. You're with nature.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think we are going so fast at 100 miles an hour that we forgot to smell the roses sometimes.
yeah, yeah. That's true.
And this conversation is something that put all of us in self-reflection. What exactly that we want in life?
Yeah,
Happiness,
yeah,
self care, mental being, and whatnot, and still have time to take care of our passion. Sound like you
yeah.
have that going on.
Well,
Yes.
I hope so. And that's what I'm trying to address on my second YouTube channel that I
Mm-hmm.
started recently. It's brand
Mm-hmm.
new. And I talk about those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Being your authentic self, finding
Yeah.
out who you want to be
Yep.
and so forth and how you can do that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Kate, we are close to wrapping up the time here. This is so enlightening. I mean, I'm glad I was able to connect with you. And
Same
as soon
here.
as you respond, I was like,
I mean, you are quite the example, Kate. I mean,
yeah,
to just say pack up, go, and I'm going to stop only when I'm fully satisfied and happy with my life. That is great.
Thank
It's
you.
so good.
and you're not running
Yeah.
towards the technology because technology is going so fast. You are
I know.
actually
Yeah.
enjoying yourself as you are walking
Yeah,
through with YouTube. You're like, oh, this is this. Oh, I like this. You're picking up the pieces and explore. That's
yeah,
wonderful.
Yeah.
And again, I want
excellent.
to thank you again, and it's been a pleasure. Uh, I will definitely share your social media handles so that our followers and new subscribers can actually tap into your channel, and then hopefully we can all, you know, grow this community and support each other because it's all
Yes.
about empowering, it's all about lifting each other, and something that we can learn from each other too.
Yeah. Great. Thank you.
Of
Thank you
course.
so much, Kate.
It's been my pleasure, really.
Great.
Now, listeners, if today's episode resonated with you in any way, please hit subscribe, leave a quick comment below, or share it with a friend. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. If you wish to be a guest, DM or email us at hello@ttransitions.com. Every story matters here, and we are so glad you were here sharing our space, Kate. Take care, be kind, and keep showing up as you. Till our
Thanks.
next conversation. Maybe we
Thanks.
meet in Jogja one day, Kate.
I
Anytime
know,
you're welcome
right?
for visit. You're welcome
As we
here. Yeah.
stop by, see my mom in Singapore, I'm gonna be, Kate, can I come visit you?
For sure. Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, everybody, thank you so much for your time. Pleasure meeting you, Kate. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.